Review of the Ace Frehley album Space Invader. It was released in 2014 and produced by Ace Frehley. So this I remember when it came out. I don't really remember when I went and got it. Would have been pretty soon after it came out. I listened to this a ton when I first got it. I remember like driving around in my car listening to it all the time. I got really into this album pretty quick, which kind of surprised me because going into this album, I would have had 2 Ace solo albums, not counting the 78, which I also had. So I had Anomaly, which was the first one I got, and I had Frehley's Comet to this point. So I mean, I liked both of those. I liked Frehley's Comet more than Anomaly, but I did still like Anomaly. I don't know, Anomaly when it first came out had kind of disappointed me, so I was kind of expecting this one to do the same thing. But that said, like when I first heard it, it had disappointed me, but it had kind of grown on me, and so like by the time I got this album, I liked Anomaly, but I basically like wasn't expecting to go into this album and like it right away. I was like, it's probably going to take some time to grow on me. I'm probably going to only like half the songs. But I was really surprised when I got this album. I got into it right away. I like most of the songs on here. I still like most of the songs on here. So yeah, it was kind of an album that really surprised me when I got it, and still kind of is a favorite of mine as far as the Ace solo albums. The album opens with Space Invader. It's written by Ace. Most of the songs on here are written by Ace. I'll probably only mention when he has like a co-writer. I think it's a really pretty strong opener, strong title track. I feel like on this album, Ace kind of got back to what he does a little bit better than on Anomaly. Like he doesn't try as many different things. Kind of sticks to more like what works for him. And even when he does kind of experiment more on this album, it kind of like works better than it did on Anomaly. I also like the production on this album better. It has kind of like a raw sound to it, but I still think it sounds good. Like all the guitars sound good. I think Ace's vocals sound pretty good. The second track, Give Me a Feeling, is written by Ace and John Borstowski. So I'm sorry, I know I butchered that and I could barely read my own handwriting. Yeah, this track is probably my favorite on the album. I really liked it like the first time I heard it. I just think it's a really catchy song. It's got like the guitar riff's really catchy too. I like Ace's playing throughout it. Just a really good track. The third track, I Want to Hold Your Hand, by Ace and Jin Rubin and Sebastian Basco. I'm sorry with these co-writers' names. I'm sure I'm like destroying all of them. But this is another song that I like. I think it's really catchy as well. It's got some cool guitar on it, which is about all I ask from an Ace song. I just feel like, I don't know what it was, but this album just, to me at least, has some of his catchiest songs that he's ever written. I just think that he was really like onto something as far as writing catchy songs around this time. Fourth track, Change, is by Ace and his ex Rachel, and probably the less said about her, the better. But yeah, this track I really like too. Actually, really, it's got this kind of like dark sounding, like chugging guitar part to it that I really like. I think the vocal melody of it's really catchy. The lyrics are kind of interesting for an Ace song. So yeah, really strong track. Fifth song, Toys. This one I've never really loved that much. I don't like hate it or anything. It's not like a skip, but it's just not one that if I'm going picking tracks of this to just listen to on their own, I'm not going to play this one. The sixth track, Immortal Pleasures, another Ace and Rachel song, and this one I also like as well. I kind of see this song as like a more successful attempt to do something kind of different than the songs where he attempted that on Anomaly. It's just, I don't know, it's a little, lyrically it's a little bit different. Some of the instrumental stuff's a little bit different from what he normally does. And he was kind of doing that stuff a little bit more on the album before this, but like this kind of version of him doing that sort of thing works better. I think so. Yeah, this one's another pretty good track. 7-track Inside the Vortex. Another one that I've always liked a lot. I think it's another catchy song with some good guitar. The 8th track, Whatever Girl Wants. This one I kind of have a little bit mixed feelings about. I like the verse part a little bit more than the chorus, especially when it goes into the like "Time Waits for No One" bit. I think it's really catchy there, and then the chorus part just kind of doesn't live up to that. Like it's not as catchy as the rest of the song, and when he kind of like, I'll give you much more than a walk in the park at the end, it kind of just sounds like he couldn't think of anything better to end it with. But overall, I like the track. I think it's got some cool guitar. It's pretty catchy. It's just it doesn't like fully work for me. The 9th track, Past the Milky Way, by Ace and Chris Cassino. I'm sorry, I have no idea how to pronounce most of these co-writers' last names. This one I like a lot too. It's kind of like this like epic space song. I kind of always think of it, I guess since this album's called Space Invader, and it does have a few space songs on it, I always think of it being more of an album about space than what it really is. Like he's really only got like 3 songs that are kind of about space, and then an instrumental that's named something about space, but it's just an instrumental. So, and I think I like when I hear people talk about this album as well, they're kind of like, oh, there's too much like space theme on it. It's just space this and space that, but really it's not as bad as that. It's only like 3 songs, and I think it all kind of works. Like I don't know. I don't find the space theming that obnoxious on this album. Like I think it kind of works, and for this song, I think I don't know. It's just I think it's really catchy. I think pretty interesting lyrics for an Ace song. Some cool guitar. It's a pretty good track. The 10th song, Reckless. This another favorite of mine on here. Just a really catchy song. Like the guitar a lot. Lyrics maybe a little sloppy, but still they fit like Ace and his personality, and just a really catchy track. The 11th song is a cover of the Joker from Steve Miller Band. This is one that I could kind of do without. Like I don't hate it or anything. It just to me it doesn't really fit on the album. It sounds really out of place compared to everything else. And I don't like hate this song or anything, but it's never been one of my favorites. Even the original version of it, it's never been one of my favorites. But like I would kind of just like leave this off the album if it had been my choice. But it's not bad or anything. Just not one that I really have a lot of like urge to listen to that often. And then the 12th track, Starship, is an instrumental to close the album. I don't think it's a bad instrumental. It doesn't stand out as much as some of his other instrumentals. It's the Acorn is Spinning, which is kind of the lofty standard that I hold all my Ace instrumentals to. But it's pretty good. It does have him say something goofy at the end, something about George Jetson he says at the end, and kind of gives his Ace cackle, which is entertaining. I like when Ace talks in his instrumentals because it's usually pretty funny. So yeah, not a bad instrumental. Doesn't really stand out a whole lot, but fine way to close the album. So yeah, Space Invader overall I really think is one of Ace's stronger solo albums. I think that it's got a bunch of catchy rock songs on it, and I think he was playing pretty good at the time. His voice sounds pretty good on it. Not really much more to expect from an Ace album, I think. So yeah, this one I recommend pretty highly as far as his albums go. I don't think there's very many like missteps on it, and just a really good collection of catchy Ace songs.